Welcome to Aluminum Spork. Wow, that sounds bad already. Not Aluminum Spork. What am I talking about? A Spork of Ice and Fire. I'm Scott with Sporking News, and tonight we are talking the Grand Maester conspiracy. Is there? Isn't there? Is there a secret war buried in the pages of Song of Ice and Fire? One waged not with swords or wildfire, but with ink, influence, and silence. This episode's diving deep into the theory that the Maesters of the Citadel have long conspired to suppress magic, manipulation, royal succession, and extinguish the dragons of House Targaryen. From the fall of Valyria to the extinction of dragons, from hidden prophecies to the erasure of magical blood, we ask, have the Maesters shaped Westeros in their own image, one cold, ordered, and controllable? We'll answer these questions and much, much more on this episode of A Sporking News, A Spork of Ice and Fire. You know, I really tried hard at that intro.
Hold the fuck. Hey, was I even in it?
Would have helped if you weren't muted.
No, shut up. I wasn't muted.
You had people in there.
You almost had me.
And a made up fictional beast, and I wasn't in it.
What?
You had a dragon that does not exist in there. Zax, who has never been on this show.
I didn't make that. I think in the later versions we added you because you started coming around on that season.
Wow.
We'll end with always the one where you're holding. Look at this knife I found over here. You know.
No, well, I mean, I made one that said the Mad King of House Machismo.
Yeah, there is one.
Yeah, that one I guess doesn't exist.
Anyways, let's not make it all about Mad, like always. Let's make it about me Jane. And dragons and Jane theory. If you ever feel like coming back on, Jane, I'm here for you.
No, hell no. If she's coming on any show, it's gonna be mine before yours.
Dude, I've known Jane way longer than we've known you.
I still talk to her.
Yeah, I know. Jane's awesome. Anyways, and she's laughing at you right now. Like,
by the way, Jane, don't forget mailbags tonight if you want to leave any voicemails.
Oh yeah, totally gonna do that too. While we're at it, Mad, what do you say hello and what do you got going on tonight after this?
Well, tonight at 9:15 p.m. Central, we're gonna be doing Matapap episode 22. We're going to be talking about the Willie D, which was a famous battleship thing in World War II that may not have almost killed our president. Anyway,
nailed it.
Whole good story. We'll have mailbag, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I like
a new segment.
Ooh, little teaser, new segment. I like that. Thank you for being here. Really, Mr. Grant Gregory, you're here.
Hello.
Yeah. Bogan dog.
Your Bogan dog, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're always scary or weird. Hey, what's that powder again?
What powder?
That stuff, the red stuff. His boy, they swam to the Gulf.
Oh, you're talking about not firmament. Hold on, it was Vermilion.
Something like that. Yeah, that was a crazy story. You guys got to check out his show. We'll put a link somewhere in there. Someone will. I won't, but somebody will. Bad Takes Bojan is here, and I'm actually shipping out what Sean Estep sent us. Finally, Estep. I always say his name wrong. He knows that. But Sean, once again, hooking it up. Actually, Tina, take it away. I don't trust them. Give me a second.
Alrighty. Well, I apologize in advance if my connectivity sucks at any point in the stream, because the lovely 90+ degree weather that we've been having here is putting the poor gerbils that keep my internet connection running very, very tired. So that is it. We got lots of folks in the chat. Let's see who we have. We have
Great job. Great job. You're done. You don't have to worry about the people in the chat because they're there and we're here.
Woohoo! Apocalypsagon.
Apocalypsagon. I knew that. Maesters at war with magic and dragons. I wish them all the best. Magic is dangerous. It can be. It can be.
Unlike dragons that are known for their, non-danger.
Right. They're very mild and dire wolves. Biggles met. Oh, he's with the anime, this guy. Though we do have to talk. I just found a new one that I've been watching. I don't think it's new, but it's crazy. And Jane saying the conspiracy against the dragons was terrible. Yes. Zax is here when I wasn't there for him. Totally reached out to him. Like, dude, I saw your message too. I was like, dude, I got tomorrow off. It's like 9 o'clock now. Your show starts at 11. I'm totally coming. Yeah, I'll be there. Maybe. And then like I sat in my like not recliner, but like kind of like a lounge chair or like a comfortable chair. And I was watching this Beatles anthology thing. And the next thing I know, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, son of a bitch. But thank you for being here. And
not turning up for a stream after he promised. That's not like you.
Yes, but I always make it at some point. Jane Fury gives one Sporky News podcast membership, and Sonny Franks got that membership. I am already stuttering. This is going to be terrible.
By the way, what's the point of writing down your intro if you're still gonna?
Because I wrote it and then I was like, this looks good, and then I didn't even like practice it a little bit, so I should have just reread it and not try to use words I can't pronounce quickly. Brian McCann says 90 degrees Fahrenheit in the morning and raining and humid in the afternoon, Florida. Actually, it was with the heat index, it was 111 where I am right now up in the Northeast. So yeah.
It was 109 in Canada.
Yeah, freaking Canadians. They ruin everything. But this is some of the
even
stuff,
with that weird temperature translation thing, it was still really warm.
yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? Because they use not the right metric system. Fahrenheit, hands tall, whatever. Haynes Explains America, Owner's Workshop thing. It's all about guns and stuff. It's awesome. This one is Waltz and Gromit, the complete cracking something manual. He sent my wife a very cool 3D puzzle that's Hedwig, the owl on some books. It looks awesome. National parks. He sent my kids a chess set that's like a chess, backgammon, checkers, pickup wands, and something else. Another Game of Thrones, the whole King's Landing 3D puzzle.
Ooh.
Freaking awesome. And then a 4D. Yeah, the 4D is the owl too. And then a 4D Milner.
Hey,
What the hell's a 4D puzzle?
What Donald Trump plays. Anyways, let's move on.
It smells like Mjolnir.
Yeah, it smells like it has stale beer, tears.
Don't put it together because you might not be able to pick it up.
That's true. Dude, thank you. I'll leave like one piece out. So Apocalypse Saigon says, look, if there was magic that destroyed the world during the long night, why would anyone want to risk it happening again? Not exactly a case of ending up in the wrong hands. It just screws everyone. No, and I'm not even going to come at it as the Maesters are wrong. It's just, there's definitely a conspiracy. There's definitely been a conspiracy that dates back to, I would say, the 10 years prior to the Doom of Valeria, when Danny the Dreamer and the Valerians or Targaryens moved over to Dragonstone, getting that much closer and making a permanent residence in Westeros. Because let's not forget, there were dragons in Westeros at one time. There's ice dragons too. We just never have seen one, but George has said that the children's book with the ice dragon that
Ice
in world
dragon. Sorry.
There's some really interesting theories that I came up with that the Westerosi wild dragons were already killed by the Hightowers, and with the knowledge the Maesters got
All right,
from
stop,
that.
collaborate, and listen. Dragons are back with bad intentions. Sorry, go
Oh
on.
snap, dude! I love that. That's so awesome. We always make songs up about this kid Dan at work, and they're not nice, but it's fun to do. But what I believe is they may have, the Hightowers may have brought a genocide and brought the dragons of Westeros to extinction with the help, maybe not the help of the Maesters, but the Maesters learned from that, and that's why they don't want dragons or magic again, because I think there's a quote, I might have wrote it down. Since the Doom of Valyria, magic has slowly been going away from Planetos. So
what, you think they had something to do with the Doom?
I think the Doom, that's an in-world quote. And it's one of those things where are the dragons the key to magic? A certain type of magic, at least, that people tap into, because there are people warging up north of the wall, but the White Walkers really never died out. They just went away. So that type of ice magic was still being used. But yet when the dragons went extinct, the pyromancers couldn't create as powerful wildfires they did prior. Magicians,
Glass candles didn't work.
Yeah, glass candles. The warlocks lost their power. So did Bigglesmet with 28-month membership. I got to give them a shout for that. Words are hard. Trust me. I'm illiterate. Oh, thanks for backing me up on that one, buddy. So again, Apocalypse Saigon says, I keep again caught on that. Well, Maester, yes, and Maester Munkin says it all. Yes.
Well, he says half of it. Well,
during the dance, he definitely did some questionable moves. But let's get into it. All right. What? Go ahead, buddy.
I really hope I wasn't supposed to be listening to all of that. I just noticed because I'm doing something else. I'm like, I didn't hear any. I hope there wasn't a lot of setup and exposition I needed to hear.
So, did you get at least one verse written down of Ice Dragon?
No,
Yeah.
I'm trying to generate something with Grok.
Yeah. Come on. You should have at least got that done. So, let's start with my little thing here. Origins of the Grand Maester conspiracy. So here are some of the ideas that I came across, which I believe could be the origin. The theory says that the conspiracy began either after the Doom of Valyria or during the early reign of House Targaryen in Westeros. This is the fan-made theory. This is what I've pulled from people's different ideas of the theory. After the chaos of Valyria's fall, the Citadel may have seen magic as inherently dangerous and set out to suppress it. I think it actually went prior to that, like I said. The Targaryens, foreign, incestuous, and tied to dragons and prophecy, were the threat to the Maester's vision of irrational rule. And then the rise of the faith of the Seven as a moral and religious authority likely aligned their goals with the Maesters and most likely the Hightowers, creating an alliance against magic, heresy, and unnatural bloodlines. What do you guys think about that? Banana facts with Banana Dave.
Are these facts?
These are what I pulled out of how people started thinking of this conspiracy. So there is going to be some quotes and some facts after this that tie the Citadel. You can't directly tie them to it, but you do have someone like, and I don't want to jump ahead, but Marwyn, who is a maester, and he even
He tried to kill Melisandre.
Crescent.
Yeah. So like, I mean, yeah.
But was that
Like,
that was one
I
question I
think
was going to bring up? Was
I
that
think
because of
if
the magic or because of he treated Stannis like a son?
well, if you've got one family essentially controlling all the knowledge that's coming in, all the medical knowledge and all the faith knowledge that's coming in,
yes,
and then there's something that comes along like magic that can contradict both of those,
mm-hmm.
of course they're going to want to try and get rid of it.
Yeah. And you know, the idea that they give up their last names, so you really don't know who they are, and they're not supposed to have alliance or like preferences or alliances anymore. They're supposed to give all that up. But you even see, and I think I wrote it down somewhere down below, but Grand Maester Parcells. Oh my God, Bill. But Grand Maester Purcell, right? That's how you
Runs
say
a
it.
3-4 defense.
Yeah, and dude, oh, the Coke machine. But he actually
What?
Lawrence Taylor, the Coke machine.
Oh,
he was-
Coke machine.
Yeah,
That's not what you said.
Coke machine.
No, you said something a little bit lower, a little bit more below the belt.
Oh, I did. I thought I said Coke machine. Anyways, the Pycelles you can see he had a man crush on Tywin Lannister. He would do anything for that man. He's quoted saying that he was born to rule, you know, so he's the one that talked the Mad King into opening his gates, him and Varys, to Tywin, and look how that turned out for the Targaryens. So was it just a man crush, or did the Maesters put Pycelles there because they knew his feelings about Tywin, knowing that he would always support him over Ares? Maybe. Listless says maybe the only tangentially related, but why did the Dornish always burn down Oldtown? It was like a hobby for a while.
Their enemies kept making their houses out of wood. It's on them.
You gotta do brick. Did the Dornish burn down Oldtown? I thought it was like the Ironborn kept trying to.
Oldtown has never been destroyed. That's the whole thing. Like,
Right.
It's gone through phases. I mean, it was built by Bran, this guy, Bran the Builder. I don't know if you know this about him, but he's good at building shit. And it seems to last. Yeah.
He's real good at that. I mean, look at oops, my bad. I'm so important. Look at Storm's
Sounded
End.
like just like a alarm you set.
Shut up, dude. People are calling me. Totally. Thank you. Telemarketers. I bank on the theory that the High Towers are descended from the people from the great Empire of the Dawn. Wow. That's it. I mean, they did build the High Tower on the Blackstone Fortress that makes up the foundation. Yeah. Yeah, Lucifer means Lightbringers. Dave, right? He's awesome. The dude, I love his crazy theories. Because he goes deep in different ways than most people do. That sounded weird, but I dig that guy. I think he's pretty darn good.
You're supposed to say pause after something like that.
So who are the key targets of the Maesters?
Anyone that's not them.
Jane says smash that like the way the Maesters smashed Targaryen supremacy. Well, it's mostly against House Targaryen. It seems to be focused towards them. The most magical of noble houses, Valyrian blood, dragon lords, and prophecy linked. That's for some reason I pulled a lot of when it comes to people dealing with prophecies, they go after me even more. Baelor the Blessed, was it Baelor the Blessed? They had control of for a while, and then he kind of went a little loopy. Who was it that was a very bookwormy Targaryen?
There's been a few of them. Daemon was one.
Right. I mean, they look what they did during the dance.
Another one.
Yep. A high tower. Let's think about the dance. A high tower, was the one that lied. I mean, at least, even though the show is supposed to be true, her husband always, Viserys the First, always wanted his daughter to become queen, and his, widow trumped that and made her half brother the king, even though the kid didn't want it.
Yeah, but
Ares
that's
the
only in season 1. In season 2, he was all for it, overnight.
Yeah, depending on the episode. Go ahead, Tina. What were you going to say?
There's a quote in here that says Ares the First was a bookish man
Yes.
to the point where he would forget to change his clothes.
Mhm.
He would bring a book to bed instead of bringing his wife to bed.
Mhm.
I like that part.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
faceless
good.
malformation.
Who drank Wildfire? He was very learned as well.
That was one of Egg's brothers, I believe, drank Wildfire.
That was Arion.
Yeah. Bright Flame or something like that. Arion, something like that. So the High Towers used to be Dragon Lords, especially since their founder was named Uther of the High Tower, and Uther from Arthurian myth goes by Uther Pendragon, means head of the dragon. They were either dragon riders. I actually think they were actually dragon hunters. And you would
Is that why
think,
there's no dragons in the Vale?
well, there's
mind, there is
no
now.
in Westeros, but think about
which is a really weird thing to think of. The sheer number of dragons that were around
right.
Valerian,
Mhm.
and they never ventured anywhere else.
Yeah, they were no. There is native. I'm pretty damn sure that George has said there were native dragons, and I think it might be in the world of Ice and Fire, in Westeros, but they were all gone now. Legit Indian channel. Don't look into it. Dum. I totally agree. I only ever had a man crush on one man, Manus.
One true king.
One true king. Tywin Lannister was the least religious and mystical man in Westeros.
Or ethical.
Yeah, or ethical. Yeah. Very calculating, though. It's like how politicians are supposed to put politics aside and represent everyone when they get elected. Jane, you're adorable.
Yeah, but we elected him to represent us, not the others.
What?
Exactly.
The others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoever we're against.
We are against the others.
We are against the others.
So Dornish, the Marchers burned it down a couple of times. I read, not sure why, but there was some hatred. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it's Dornish.
Scott's LSD med alarm. Microdose the shit out of it. All right. So, also with House Targaryen, many believe that Maesters at court subtly manipulated kings and advisors to weaken their hold. And you could think of Monken in that regard.
Well, especially a lot of the lords because like a lot of the northern lords, none of them really knew how to read.
Well,
it was all the Maesters. Like I think it was,
and we
I can't remember how far down the Baratheon line it was until the lords actually learnt to read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, many of them, and it was farther down. But you have someone like Lady Barbary Dustin, who offers her powerful yet bitter condemnation of the Maesters. She says,
"Condemnation."
Yeah, I said it wrong. Shut up. Okay. They will not even say what they are. What is a Maester, after all? A chain around your neck. They make us all their servants, the lords as well as the small folk. And she believes so. Like the Grand North conspiracy, not the Grand North. I'm sorry, the Southern Ambition conspiracy, which is
bring back slavery. Sorry, different one.
Whoa, Rickon Stark was trying to foster and marry his kids into the other great houses of Westeros. Brandon, his successor, was going to marry Catelyn Tully. Ned went to foster with Robert Baratheon at the Vale with Jon Arryn. Lyanna was going to marry Robert Baratheon. And I believe, and Lady Dustin also says it, where it was his maester that was actually putting these thoughts into his head, because there was no Southern. The only outside of the North marriages I think I saw with the Starks were maybe the Vale. But other than that,
but I wouldn't even really call that out of the way, though. That's still like,
right,
yeah,
they're mountain folk, really,
yeah,
right? It's very interesting how he would whisper in his ear, and I'll find the quote, but talk a little bit about that. I'll find Lady Dustin's quote.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did a lot of inbreeding, and then well, that's the thing, like, because he was the first lot to try and get down to the southern families and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Are you suggesting that it was the Maesters that put that in his ear?
Yeah.
For what purpose, though? That I don't understand.
To get rid of the Mad King, to get rid of the Targaryens, to create a family.
What sort of foresight do you think they have that they would know that a generation down, the Mad King was gonna go mad for one?
That was the same time. Well, it was the same time. Rickon was about the same age as the Mad King, maybe even a little bit younger. Yeah, it was to get more control out of the hands of just the Targaryens and marry these houses together.
I don't see how getting the Northerners into marriage pacts does that.
Well, explain why. What do you mean?
Well, okay, like let's just assume it's all the high towers and all that are doing it. Why would bringing the Starks further down south achieve that?
Well, it's not just bringing them down, it's connecting the great houses through blood. So now you have more people connected in the Vale, in the Stormland. Like, you could pretty much, if you wanted to get rid of the Targaryens, now you have the whole seven kingdoms. I'm not saying it's the perfect one, but blood ties going against the Targaryens.
And that could also pressure the Targaryens themselves to marry outside the house.
Yep. And they do, but not enough. You know, like,
right.
I mean, outside the house, you mean like the front door or like my auntie's house or something?
Well, let's see what she says. All right, so this is Lady Dustin and her critical suspicions of the Maesters. If I were queen, the first thing, and well, back up a little. As Maester Medrick went to one knee to whisper in Bolton's ear, Lady Dustin's mouth twisted in distaste. If I were a queen, the first thing I would do would be to kill all those gray rats. They scurry everywhere, living on the leavings of the lords, chittering to one another.
What are they doing to each other?
They're chittering. Chittering?
Yeah, I had a girl try to do that once. I was like, no,
you
get away.
Totally loved it.
That's my no-no spot.
Taint there. Whispering in the ears of their maesters, but who are the masters and who are the servants? Truly, every great lord has his maester. Every lesser lord aspires to one. If you do not have a maester, it is taken to mean that you are of little consequence. The gray rats read and write our letters, even for such lords as cannot read themselves. And who can say for certainty that they are not twisting the words for their own ends? What good are they, I ask you? I mean, what good are they?
What good are any of us?
I mean, what really are maesters? You know, they're the knowledge base, right?
They're probably the ones that help the lord of each manor and the warden of each area know what the laws are after Westeros is at least together under a single Targaryen king. They're also the one that schools the children, teaches them to read and write, hopefully, because many of their parents don't.
That's true.
Well, they should get good.
But that's the thing I find weird, though. They teach the children, but how then do lords not know how to read? So it's not just that they don't know how to read. Many do, but it's the maesters. They just trust them to read them the letters. You know, that's why with Ned, Maester Ludwin and Kat had to pretend there was some secret, you know, writing because they really wanted Ned killed and go south. And that's why they burned the letter before he can even look at it because they're in cahoots. But
With
she goes.
She was the one that suggested that he has to go down when he was wavering.
Right. She like pushed him, and she even
She also received a secret letter and didn't tell Ned anything about it, and then burned it immediately.
Right. Burned it immediately. Like, and why would you check for a false bottom to a box? Like, oh, what is this? You know, like,
what is she, Brazilian?
Is it one of those neo bottoms?
Yeah. What?
Like a neo vagina?
Oh, gotcha. That type of box. So she already gave him that one. Listless Receptionist asks, I didn't read the history book, but what was the Valerians' religion before Westeros? Some dragon worshipping thing, and why didn't they bring it with them? That is a very good question. I always assumed it was closer to R'hllor, but it wasn't, you know, like maybe a form of it. But they ever really talk about?
There wasn't any base religion that they mentioned.
Right. And the Targaryens make a quick change to whatever they were doing. That's a good question. To the Faith of the Seven. So it didn't mean that much to them if they even had.
Yeah, not all of them.
True. That's very true. Very true.
Maegor had it right.
Maegor, man. God, he gets a bad rap. A lot of the players in a lot of different positions, and they happen to members of the great houses interacting with each other. What's TBF?
To be fair,
Lady Dustin also had a huge bias with Brandy. Oh yeah. She blames Ned, everybody. I mean, Ned did not bring back her husband's bones because he killed him probably. You never know with that one. But she goes on to say, that was how it was with Lord Rickon Stark. Maester Wallace was his gray rat's name. And isn't it clever how the Maesters go by only one name, even those who had two when they first arrived at the Citadel. That way we cannot know who they truly are and where they come from. But if you are dogged enough, you can still find out. Before he forged his chain, Maester Wallace had been known as Wallace Flowers. Flowers, hill, rivers, snow. We give such names to base-born children or bastards to mark them for what they are, but they are always quick to shed them. Wallace Flowers had a Hightower girl for a mother and an archmaester of the Citadel for a father. It was rumored. The gray rats are not as chaste as they would have us believe. Oldtown maesters are the worst of all. Once he forged his chain, his secret father and his friends wasted no time dispatching him to Winterfell to fill Lord Rickon's ear with poisonous words as sweet as honey. The Tully marriage was his notion. Never doubt it. And then
of course, the ones from Oldtown are the worst. They didn't even think about taking grayscale off.
Yeah, I know. Or they knew and they just didn't do it. Thank God for Sam the Slayer. Makes you wonder how all these interactions between the major houses didn't happen sooner. I mean, unlike the shows, it takes months to get anywhere. So, maybe they would meet. A lot of times it was war or tournaments, how people met. The Nine Penny Kings war is how Tywin, Aerys, Tully, I think Tarly, like they all got to know each other. Aaron, you know, that's how they all became kind of knowledgeable about each other. And then they started working with each other. But you do have to wonder about Maesters not having any. How do you give up all your alliances? You know, you grew up as a Bolton, and then you go to the Citadel and you come back with no last name, but now you're in House, Stark. And your whole life as a Bolton until you went to the Citadel was how bad the Starks are and how you used to skin them to try to get their powers and how they, killed your own people. Never did work. It's weird.
I mean, unless you believe Roose is a vampire.
Well, he could be. He could be. Another target of the Maesters, and we'll get more like of the Targaryen family, Maegor the Cruel. You brought it up.
I did.
You did. He fought a war against the faith. But you know that if the faith was going to war with the king, Oldtown had to be in agreement with that. So you had to have the High Towers and the Citadel backing you. He died mysteriously, and some people believe he was poisoned by his own by a maester. Look at Aegon III, and we'll get into him a little bit more later. The last dragon died during his regency, but he was a PTSD kid as a king.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, he was 9 years old when his mother was charred in front of him by his uncle brother. Cousin.
What'd she do?
She was
a woman.
Yeah.
So it's justified.
And then you have the whole dance. Maesters often supported Aegon II, favoring the male heir, even though he didn't want it. And Viserys the First made it very clear the line of succession went to his daughter.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, people often say that it was the blacks that ended up winning, but realistically, it was the greens that won the whole dance, because even though Aegon III is there, it is Rhaenyra's son. The line of succession doesn't go through her; it goes back through to his father, to Daemon.
Right.
That's how the succession goes down. And that's the reason why Rhaenyra is never credited as queen
ever, even though she was crowned.
Yeah.
So known historical incidences involving Maesters and Targaryen deaths. King Maegor the First we just talked about. Theories say that he was
also with them going up against Maegor, like they've literally just been conquered by Aegon. And they're just like, well,
then they try to push. Well, it was more the faith, but I combine them all into this conspiracy.
They're all the same. They're all High Towers.
Yeah. And they went to war they pretty much pushed for a war the second he died. And
that's exactly right. And because he was the next in line. That's why when Maegor went, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Went,
my nephew can't handle this.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. So
and then he went down and he smashed 7 of them at once.
Yeah, man. Well, people think that the Maesters had something in the faith because they feared his brutality and his growing influence over the 7 kingdoms after the war against the faith. By
the time Aegon had finished doing everything, he was tired of war.
Yeah.
He was done with war. He was ready to settle down and do everything. Maegor was the complete opposite. Maegor was like, we've still got that place over there we haven't got yet. Or we don't have 7 kingdoms yet.
Well, and let's not forget, it's like his 2 sons, Aenys to his sister who died.
That doesn't narrow it down. He's killed a lot of people.
No. Aegon's sister who died in Dorne. Visenya was it? Okay. So that's Aenys' mom. And then you got Maegor's mom, who is the more brutish warrior-like queen. Visenya and
Nymeria?
No.
Rhaenyra?
Rhaenys? Somebody in the chat will let us know. But
one of the R names.
It was almost like his personality was split between his 2 sons. You had the personable smart, well-liked Aenys, who was the older one. And then you had Maegor, who was like a knight at the age of 11. Yeah, right, to a point.
But yeah, how does someone just die sitting on a throne after being able to getting your head crushed in and surviving that, but getting a little cut on your hand kills you?
Yeah, and it wasn't even like there was a lot of blood or anything. It was just he was dead. He was poisoned, most likely. Let's not forget the dance. I brought it up a minute ago, but during the Targaryen Civil War, Grand Maester Orwell initially served Rhaenyra, but later defected to Aegon II. Maester's loyalties and advice often prolonged or often prolonged the conflict, and their alignment may have contributed to the war's deadly outcome. Aegon II's death, officially poisoned by enemies after the war, but some suspect involvement of Maesters in the cover-up or manipulation of events leading to his death to secure a more stable succession.
How? It was in a secure room.
I know.
He got his wine poured by Maesters only.
Only. Right.
Yeah.
And if anybody's worried about spoilers for House of the Dragon, they completely are changing that. So I wouldn't worry about it. It's probably not going this way. Go back to Aegon III we were talking about. During his youth, the Maesters had immense influence over his regency. Mm-hmm. Under their care, dragons died out. Most likely could have been poisoned. And Aegon grew up deeply traumatized, earning the name Dragonbane.
Well, not just that. If their idea was to bring down the Starks and all that to be able to unite against the Targaryens, I mean, Cragen Stark was his hand for a long time as well.
Aegon's the third?
Aegon the III, yeah.
I thought he was only his hand for a short period.
No, he was there for a while. Yeah. He basically he took control of everything until he became of age, basically.
Oh, really? I thought he was only there for what equated to be like 6 months to a year until all the people that were supposed to be hanged.
He got a lot done in that time.
No, because
are you there? Am I gone?
No, you're just not paying attention.
Oh no, when you said and then I thought something was going to come after that.
It was, and then I got kind of frozen. But Aegon III, he had the Hour of the Wolf, where the Starks and he took control. You're right about that. He took control and just all right. Here we go. Cregan Stark. Hand very beginning. He was the hand at the very beginning of his reign. Lord Stark's brief time as hand was known as the Hour of the Wolf. During this period, he oversaw arrests of 22 men, including Lars Clubfoot and Corlys Valerian, who were accused of poisoning the previous king, Aegon II. He resigned as hand the day after these executions and left it as gladly as anyone ever left the office. So that was, they don't even put the time there, but Regency Council hand. So there was a council that was kind of considered the hand. That was from 131 to 136. So Cregan left before the end of the year.
Yeah, it says that upon his return to Winterfell in 132 AC. So he was there for a year or less.
Right. And then
I thought it was like 4 or 5 years the way it was. Yeah, the way in which it was worded in the thing, it was like, like he couldn't wait to get out of there, but he had to finish what he was doing.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. But after he left, they had like a council of 7 regions. And several of them held the position at hand. So you had Grand Maester Munkin, who we'll talk about later. He was from 131 to 136. Lord Unwin, he was the hand at some point during the Regency. Lord Thaddeus Rowan, he was appointed hand after Lord Unwin. Lord Manderley, he was the hand who was relieved of his office when King Aegon III came of age in 136.
Must have been what I got mixed up, that he was relieved.
Yeah, okay. he had quite a few. He even had his brother, the Prince, as his hand after he came of age.
Well, after he was rescued, yeah.
Yeah.
How's that whole scenario going to play out now in the show? Like,
I mean, they're so young.
no,
How do you do it?
yeah, well, especially not only that, with like when Rhaenyra takes over, they believe that when Maegor gets killed at the bridge, that she was responsible for it.
Right.
Because that's the same time that Helena says, "I wonder if I could fly," and then she couldn't.
Right. No, now she's a seer. Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't
now
wait
she
to
will
follow
fly.
it though. I can't wait to follow it live every Tuesday. Well, we might go back to Monday nights for that. Every Monday night after House of the Dragon episode. So Apocalypse Saigon says, you think not knowing enough to assimilate into Westerosi people, wanting to hold on to their personal power and looks was a factor in their downfall. The two biggest factors: dragons, faith, all three, Hightowers, Faith, Maesters mostly hated that. Two, the incest. It's like
They weren't a
incest
fan?
and polygamy. You know, if they can't keep it in their pants, keep it in the family. Well, the Maesters didn't agree, or the Faith massively. I think that was their downfall.
I think their complacency of their own power was probably their biggest thing. Their
like that,
divine belief in that nothing could do them, because all it took was 3 dragons to take over the world, and they came from a place where there was hundreds of dragons. And it's not like the Targaryens were like royals over there. They were farmers essentially.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's their own overbelief in their power and their divine right, when the people who are in control of what is divine and what isn't are saying the complete opposite. But feeding them that, no, this is your right. This is, feeding them that false hope that everything's going to be
right. Okay. Right. Sir Rogar, welcome, says the Maesters killed the dragons. Definitely. Back to Targaryens they may have killed. Baelor the Blessed's death in 171 AC died after a fasting ritual. Maesters were in control of his care, likely ending his life with poison to prevent his growing fanaticism, which they thought might destabilize the realm. Summerhall tragedy, 259 AC. While not confirmed, some speculate the Maesters may have had a hand in the sabotage of the magical ritual that led to the death of King Aegon V, Prince Duncan, and others, fearing the return of the dragons.
I just think Egg was over his head with it.
Yeah, maybe. But there's some writing, right? There's like little like moments.
But that was the thing, like that with Egg was different because he didn't rely so much on the Maesters and everything, because he had the love of the small folk, and he was a very different sort of king.
Yeah, and I don't think the Maesters approved, and definitely the other houses didn't approve, like the Lords.
Yeah.
So, let me see.
What do you think, Mad?
Man, listen, this is the most I have been lost on any of these. I don't know why I'm here.
Because you support me, man.
I gave y'all the ice dragon, but after that I was out.
Oh yeah, and your no spot.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
That too.
That's how they get you. As soon as you start to forget about your no spot, they will remind you.
Let's go back to
you here to make up a number for Jeopardy.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Wait,
11
a number.
Yeah, first, second, or third.
I don't think you know how Jeopardy's played.
Oh. Well, we'll find out soon.
Sorry, go on, Scott. I'm done.
No worries. I've seen a lot of reference to the 14 Flames as the Valyrian religion. So the 14 Flames were actually 14 volcanoes controlled by wizards. They may have had some religion with that, but the doom happened because of those 14 Flames, the infighting. and the death of wizards controlling those flames, and it just, nuked. The Septons hated the Targs, but I don't remember any pious Targs either. Baelor the Blessed, he was very pious. So Maester Monken, though, served as the royal historian and wrote the true telling about the Dance of the Dragon. So that's also something to think about. The Maesters control the history. And don't forget what Alicent and Rhaenyra talked about at the end of, I think it was the last episode of season 2 of House of the Dragon. No matter what they do, some man will write their history. And that's what people believe about them. Not that they never wanted this war. It was all a mistake. It wasn't them being, women don't have.
Not that she literally gave up both of her children for death.
Right.
Her male children to protect the female. The female,
right? Women don't have any like goals, or strive for anything,
Well, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of season 2. I just realized that women don't actually have any agency. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of base when you think about it,
Yeah. So he wrote the true telling. His account is heavily biased in favor of Aegon II, portraying Rhaenyra as irrational and dangerous. Some theorists argue that Monken's version of events shaped the official history to justify Maester's loyalty to male succession, making her out to be even worse than she was.
That's why you had the counterpoint of Mushroom.
Mm-hmm. But in Westeros, someone will take the Maester's word over a dwarf.
What, over a dwarf?
Yeah, I wouldn't. But
I mean, did you not hear how his penis was described? Like a baby's arm holding an apple?
Holding an apple. Nice red one. He also further suppressed magical and prophetic bloodlines. So trying to suppress that, because if you take House of the Dragon correctly, Rhaenyra knew the prophecy. His work became one of the most cited records of the dance, possibly sanitizing the Maester's role in the bloodshed and helping to cement the Citadel's political narrative. So there. Don't tell
Mushroom was a prince that was promised. I still agree with
that. Mushroom, yeah. He probably falls under that. Everyone does, right? Sir Rogar? I think so. The death of the dragons. So dragons grew smaller and weaker over generations until they vanished altogether. People are trying to put that on the Maesters. I don't know if I agree, but the 3 they brought over from Valyria, the Black Dread and the other ones, they were way bigger than any of the ones birthed on Dragonstone or kept in the dragon pit. Now, we saw with Dany's dragons, people are like, well, her dragons grew big. Well, Drogon, who was free, grew much bigger and faster than the other 2 that were chained up. So something about keeping them, in a closed environment like a snake or a
but
fish.
Still wasn't anywhere near the size of Vhagar, and Vhagar was dwarfed by the Black Dread.
Yeah, right. They got smaller and smaller as they went down, and Vhagar wasn't. The dragon pit was, but see, Vhagar came from Valyria too, so she's not one of them, and she was huge.
Huge bitch.
Yeah, what were you gonna say, Tina?
I was like, she may not have spent any time really in the dragon pit.
Mm-hmm.
Unless maybe she was laying a clutch of eggs or whatnot. So
right.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Very good point. Zombie $1 review for £2. Mad, this might look like £2, but it's actually 2K. I don't know what that means.
So the other night, I forgot what Madapap episode it was, but which you should check out.
Speak easy.
Yeah, he donated $100. Unfortunately, I guess I inserted the decimal myself. I was like, thanks for $1.
Oh, what a dick. I would never screw that up if Andy
I fixed it.
Sent me $100. I would say it's 1,000 just to make him look better.
Once I found out.
Pressure him into another 900.
Dragonstone was the ideal situation to sleep cave, but they flew around freely. Right. And even the ones born there weren't as big as the ones in Valeria, but also the Valeria had the 14 flames. You know, Dragonstorm is it's a volcanic island.
Hot.
So it is
That's
hot, but it's not like the 14 flames. And
it's
definitely
not like volcanic hot.
Right. And King's Landing, not so much. So Maesters were often in charge of the care and could have manipulated their food, environment, or breeding. So they may have had those dragon tamers, but that's in the show. I don't remember if they ever talk about those guys in the book, but Maesters were the ones that took care of them in the dragon pit too.
Well, Maesters also took care of a lot of the king's food as well. Like, I mean,
Yes.
I'm sure that Aegon the Unworthy didn't necessarily want to get stuffed till he freaking exploded.
Right. And
I mean, like he died on the chair, rotting essentially.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That was the fourth, right? Aegon the fourth. He was
the fourth. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
fourth.
Unworthy.
Yeah, Aegon the Unworthy.
Yeah. Even a maester himself, Archmaester Marwyn the Mage, famously said, "Who do you think killed all the dragons the last time around? Gallant dragon slayers armed with swords? The world the Citadel is building has no place in it for sorcery or prophecy or glass candles, much less for dragons." A piece for Crow, Samwell 4.
Do you think the glass candle test is to test to see if the person is magic and then get rid of them?
You know, I've wondered that because I don't remember if they could remember the last time it was lit, because they have the Valerian steel chain for the mystical arts, and Maester Ludwin had it. I believe.
Who was the maester that it lit up for?
Solaria Sand and Marwyn, wasn't it for them?
Yeah.
And there was somebody else. What?
They're all dead.
No, Marwyn's alive. She's alive.
Marwyn didn't do it.
Well, Solaria, or whatever her name is alive. I don't know who lit it. It is lit now. There is one candle we know of lit in the Citadel. I can look that up in a minute, but I don't.
Well, it's probably because it was too hard to handle.
Yeah, Matt. I know you're not feeling well, buddy. So I know you have to stream. So if you know nothing of the topic,
nope.
So,
but at least I got that Black Crows reference in.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude. Let them know where you are, your link, all that.
Good stuff. Let me get that link real quick. Tonight at 9:15 p.m. Central, which is in about an hour from now, we'll be doing episode 22 of Matapap, which is going to be about the Willie D, the USS Willie D. And oh boy, it's quite the story. And I'm dropping.
It's about a ship, not a giant penis. Just for those who are
wondering. We'll see. Who knows?
Hilarious, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a good time, guys. Make sure you check it out.
And
there it is. That's the link. We will send people over there after this one is done.
All right, brother. See y'all.
Thank you for being here as always, buddy. See you Thursday, hopefully.
Yeah, of course.
Later. Sir Rogar asks a good question. Do you guys subscribe to the theory that the dragons died out because of Aegon usurping Rhaenyra, parallel to the Blood Emperor? Good parallel. It is a male usurping a female, so that's right there. I think it wasn't. They didn't die out. They did die out because of the dance, but it wasn't because they went to war. It's because they were having dragons killing each other, and the more powerful ones all died.
Well, you also had a king who didn't want Dragonstone, who didn't want anything to do with dragons. And it's not like dragons can go up to the Eyrie and just survive up there and breed.
Right. And they created that. They created Aegon the Third. No one helped him get through that. You didn't have an adult male Targaryen making sure that the dragons were properly being taken care of. So I do believe they poisoned them once the dance was over. In the dragon pit, I mean, let's not forget about the attack on the dragon pit. The Maesters might have had something to do with that.
Well, I mean, the Maesters and the Shepherds are basically the same thing, just that one's a street level version.
Right.
Yeah, good point.
Yep. Yeah, they were comfortable at Dragonstone, but let's shove them all in a pit in King's Landing. Good point.
No wonder they broke out and killed all the people.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no.
And they also, it wasn't just the dragons, like they do hate prophecy. Most Maesters dismiss prophecy as madness or superstition.
Yeah, because they've already got something planned out, and prophecy is the thing that interferes with that. They've got like a 200-300 year plan of this is how things are going to go. This is what's going to happen. We've all got the same goal now to make sure this happens.
Right. I mean, they've been around for the Oldtown's been around for over 10,000 years, and they've been there for quite a long time too.
Well, they were there
the high towers.
They just finally had their own ancestral home after Oldtown was there.
Right, and they have the only book. That's what the Faceless Man, who was Jaqen H'ghar, is going after? The only book about how to kill a dragon. If you look at the source material, the Citadel minimizes the prophecy Dany the Dreamer had. They can't leave it out completely, but they minimize her foreseeing the doom. It was like, it's almost like happenstance, like,
well, yeah, because a low-level family decides to move, something bad happens, and then she's going around saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, I was telling people this for years."
Right.
It's not like they had an up-to-date record of what was going on in Old Valyria at the time.
Right, because it was 10 years before the doom actually happened. They moved to Dragonstone, and that's when it happened. Just picked it as source. She was a maiden. The doom because Dany had foreseen. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find a little something here. Let's see. You leave your guests without a host. Archmaester Marwyn's Book of Lost Books. He lifted his gaze from the page to study her. Hatho brought me a copy from Oldtown. Had to bring it from Oldtown. He has a daughter he would have me wed. Lord Roderick tapped the book with a long nail. See here, Marwyn claims to have found 3 pages of signs and portents, visions written down by the maiden daughter of Aenar Targaryen before the doom came to Valyria. Does Lanny know that you are here? So, I mean, like the prophecy the vision she had, he had to find it. It was like, it was in a book, the vision written down. Like, oh, Marwyn claims to have found 3 pages about that prophecy. So they minimize it. But in his book, Marwyn's like, no, I found these. But they put it as he claims he found it. What else do I have here? The prince that was promised, Azor Ahai, and other major prophetic figures are left unstudied or scorned. Marwyn and Maester Aemon are notable exceptions, suggesting a divide within the Citadel itself. Many believe that Aemon was pushed to go to the wall, even though he says he went to the wall so there was no succession thing with his brother, but people still were going to get him out of the wall, to do it. So it didn't matter where he was going. It was his decision not to go against his brother. But Oldtown was like, well, why don't you go to the wall, dude? Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because he would have made a good king. That's why.
So
good point.
Yeah.
He was less controllable, and he was much more learned than the rest of them. So,
and he probably wouldn't have gone so deep into what Aegon did for the small folk. He would have been a little smarter about it.
Yeah.
11 Alpha, it says 1 in 100 has a Valyrian steel link. So
I'll be back in like 4 or 5 minutes, buddy.
Yeah. So likely less than 10 Maesters at any one time, assuming a few hundred in the Citadel and 500 in various houses. I wouldn't even think there's 500 in various houses. I mean, it's mostly the great families, the 7 great families, maybe 8. And then some of the lesser ones, like the twins and place and in the Vale, some of those houses. So I would say it's less than 500 that are in the houses. So there's a lot of people studying to be maesters, but a lot of people leave halfway through. So I've been wondering about that too. You know, was it you have the half maester with Aegon, Zentite, maybe? The half maester with Aegon the 6th. You have the Red Viper I think he left after 6 or 7 chains, which is pretty much half. Coburn, oh god, Coburn, what the hell's his name? Qyburn. He was booted, but I think he only had half of them. And a lot of people, I don't know what like the 7th or 8th one is, but it's something that people are like, all right, I'm done being a maester.
Well, and I think that the Citadel is a nice place to dump an extra kid, kind of like in medieval times. That's where you put your 3rd son as you sent him to the priesthood.
Right. Yes. The 2nd son might get a minor house.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to 3rd and under, they're either going to be knights somewhere or in somebody's service, or go to the Citadel, or go to the Sept, the Starry Sept, is it? I forget which one is in Oldtown, but you go to the Grand Sept in Oldtown, and both of them are under the control of the High Towers. Mm-hmm. So really, this shouldn't be the Grand Maester; it should be the Grand High Tower conspiracy. Nailed it. Print that. Unless the show made it up there, we're still laying clutches at Dragonstone 2, Silverwing. There probably were clutches at Dragonstone, but the funny thing is, after Aegon the Third and they die out, there are not a lot of dragon eggs left. So did they all hatch and they were just feeble and poisoned? I don't remember exactly.
That's right, because Dragonstone is pretty much abandoned after Aegon the Third. So
yeah, for a while, right?
Yeah, so I mean, if there were any dragon eggs, they probably would have been confiscated.
Right. Yeah, because who becomes like the prince or the like kind of considered, because the crown prince lives there usually, but I think the next one in succession until I think Aegon had kids, was his brother, and he was his hand for a while and closely with him. So good point. I could easily believe the Maesters hastened the dragon's death. Yes. 11 Alpha, as opposed to Anil Targaryen, who had no children because he preferred another point of entry. Okay, that's what it meant. I was like, wait a minute, does that sound right?
That's good.
Yeah, Starks, Karstarks, Royce, they all had maesters. Yes, that was the house in the Vale. You knew where I was going. Loras was lucky, really. Yeah. So the Daemons in my tag, I have to say something about that in my title. Among Us, the term Daemons is symbolic in my thing. It's representing those with unnatural gifts or magical lineage, which Targaryen Daemons had. The Maesters may have targeted prophetic Targaryens like Rhaenyra and Daenerys, or Rhaegar, I'm sorry, and Daenerys. They probably targeted wargs and green seers in the north, because how long was the last time, like, it's legend, myth that Starks were warging, like they could warg. Like it hasn't been for many generations. So who helped out with that? And they hate shadow binders like Melisandre. You have Creston, who kills her, or tries to kill her. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, it's always made me wonder about all the deaths that near deaths around. I'm like, Aegon the Third, his best friend Gage died of poisoning, but he was the guy that would always try his food first.
Mm-hmm.
They were already going after Aegon then.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, because if you can get him before he comes of age.
Because did that happen before Viserys was rescued?
I don't remember. I could look that up.
I think it happened beforehand because I know he was lonely, and then when he got his brother back, he was starting to get a bit happy again.
What was his name again that got poisoned?
Gage, I'm pretty sure it was. Because he was his official taster, but he was essentially his best friend.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take a look at that. The Citadel could have tried to erase these bloodlines through council, medication, or discrediting them, which they did with many of the Targaryens. The fear isn't just magic, but magic in the hands of individuals who can change the world's destiny. And I think that's what they feared after Aegon the First died, the Conqueror. Like they knew they couldn't get to him. But the minute his son, who was loved by everyone, the whole world turned on Aenys. So, I mean, they were going after and Maegor, balls to the wall, attacked everybody, and they most likely poisoned him. And then you have Jaehaerys, who flew his dragon to Oldtown because he knew if he didn't show strength to them, they would probably have killed him too. These demons or Daemons.
Gaiman. Sorry, not Gage. Gaiman.
Oh, it's Daemon?
Gaiman.
Oh, yeah. Gaiman, pale hair, right?
That's the one.
King Aegon III Targaryen ascended the throne at a young age, had a notable individual serving as his food taster. That was Gaiman. Gaiman was a 4-year-old boy, the son of a Hua. He was initially claimed to be a bastard of the previous king, Aegon II, which was not improbable given Aegon's youthful bawdy ways. Gaiman gathered thousands of followers and issued edicts from Visenia's Hill. His mother later confessed he was the son of a silver-haired oarsman from Lys and was hanged. Despite this, Gaiman was spared and taken into King Aegon III's household. He became Aegon III's constant companion and food taster for quite a few years. Tragically, Gaiman died of poisoning, which might have been intended for the king himself. So, yeah, that was before he became of age.
Yeah.
So they were trying to definitely kill him.
Who would be okay? He's out of the way. Then who's next in line?
I would think it was his brother.
Yeah, but his brother wasn't found then.
That's what I mean. So who would have been next in line? There must have been somebody on the other side, right? One of the greens.
They would have had to have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm going to do next is, okay, so this is one grand theory, right? But I noticed the different takes people took in their approach to the theory. So you have the rational people, the rationalist view. Maesters aren't villains, just secular scientists trying to prevent another magical apocalypse like Valeria. Could be. You have to see it from their point of view. If they do believe, even though they have the Valerian chain, they believe in science and controlling knowledge. That's another thing, knowledge and power in Oldtown. So in their minds, they're the heroes of this story. You also have the Faith Maester Alliance. Like I said before, the Seven and the Citadel may have been working together to destroy heresy, Targaryen rule, and magic. Then the one I believe in the most is the Oldtown power theory. So the High Tower rulers of Oldtown, where the Citadel is, may have used the Maesters to undermine rivals and influence the Iron Throne with the help of the Faith. You have the Anti-Prophecy Crusade. So some believe the Maesters want to stop doomsday cults and false messiahs, fearing the chaos prophecies bring. And then the dragon fertility, like dragon breeding, a moral a more biological take suggesting the Maesters poison dragons slowly, limiting their ability to reproduce or thrive. Another reason for the dragon pit, like to control their food intake, their growth, in a smaller environment. They learned that dragons don't grow as big. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and maybe dragons. The thing that we don't realize is that dragons need to be a certain size, at a certain weight to be able to have eggs that can hatch.
Right. Lemon Alpha says, I don't know if it's canon, but I think House Reed has no Maester, no Ravens, which might have protected their green seeing ability. Yeah, the Reeds, they're completely cut off in the bag. I think Howland Reed went. I mean, he went to the God's Eye, stayed with the Green Men for a while. I think Laenor Valerian was maybe one of the last that went there. There might be somebody else, but it was quite a few years before somebody else went there. And then all of a sudden he leaves there, and the whole meeting of the Starks at Harrenhal, somehow within a year becoming a confidant of Ned Stark, being the only other survivor of the so-called Tower of Joy. Like, he knows a lot, and he cut himself off knowing that Oldtown would probably try to have him killed. Right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It was purely a survival type. There's always hope, even if even if you're 1,000 miles away from where you want to be or need to be. At least you're alive.
Yeah. I mean, you look at how they treat anyone who is like we said it a little bit, but the way that Maesters react to Marwyn, because he does believe in there is mystical arts out there, and he writes books about things like this. Marwyn makes sure not to tell anybody that he's going to get to Dany before the other Maesters can, because they'll poison her, maybe not literally, but figuratively. She'll hear bells and lose her shit or something. I don't know.
That'll never happen.
Yeah. There's also the pragmatic reason. The Maesters believe they are acting for the greater good, and magic introduces a degree of unpredictability that makes it harder to manipulate events favorably. 11 Alpha, I agree with that too. I think that's what the High Towers knew would happen with the Maesters. If you think about it, the High Towers, the Maesters, and the religion, all in the South, all thought they were like that was the end all be all capital of Westeros. And it was for, many, many years, even with all these feudal lords and kings, minor kings. Oldtown was always considered something greater until Aegon said, screw that. I'm putting my new capital on the other side of the country.
Yeah, they couldn't get more blatant than that.
Right. And he appeased them a bit, but they learned quick they could not control somebody who had dragons. And so they killed the dragons off, and then they realized we still can't control these son of a bitches. They do what they want. So we have to do something about it. And you have someone like Pycelles, who, literally is one of the people that got his king killed, and the city sacked. That's not very masterly of you.
He was the one that convinced him to open the gate.
Yeah, him and Varys. Or no, was Varys going against him?
No.
Right?
Varys was against it.
Right. It was
100% Pycelle.
Yeah. And you could trust Tywin. I mean, I know he wanted to go down on Tywin, but still. I think the Citadel knew that about him. It was like, oh, we can use this. It's a very interesting conspiracy, but I would not call it the Grand Maester conspiracy. It really is the Grand Hightower, or you could just say Oldtown conspiracy.
And
Yeah.
it makes more sense because they would be the ones who would have the biggest grudge against the Targaryens.
And for millennia, they were the end all be all: knowledge, religion, and strength. And then all of a sudden, a dude and his two sisters conquer your whole freaking continent, pretty much close to it. You know, and sometimes without even doing anything, just showing up, like with the Starks.
It's like, God damn it, him and his sister wives.
Yeah, right. Citadel conspiracy. Maybe that was the attraction for price sales, that there is zero mystical about Tywin. He's all power, war crime, and not much else. He is a very shrewd man and strategic. Yeah, there's not many people at that time, though, that magic is something major for them. You know, Ares, if anything, it was wildfire, but that was a chemical compound that the pyromancer group controlled, not the Maesters. So you almost, like, the Maesters wasn't it like the pyromancers were quite a big group under the Targaryens. And then all of a sudden they just, Robert's rebellion happens and they are like, they're turned into such a small group with hidden caches of wildfire everywhere. Interesting shit, though. We don't have time for the game, but there was someone who talked, one of the other writers of The Witcher.
It's only a quick game.
Okay, we can play a quick game, like 15 minutes. We'll just do some, give people in the chat time to answer too.
Oh, man, we need like Mason and other people here because I suck.
Yeah, that's all right. It makes me feel better.
Scotty needs to win one.
Yeah. It makes me...
All right, so this is Song of Ice and Fire Jeopardy. So our categories are what in the word?
Very nice, buddy.
It's kind of magic. It's a kind of magic. Aged like Dornish wine. Keeping it in the family. And put it in your gob, TV edition. And last but not least, enough horsing around.
Oh, Game of Thrones trivia time.
The host.
Who is our host?
So, what would you like first?
What in the word? Keep it in the family. Ooh, that's a good one. Keep it in the family for 600.
Okay, so keep it in the family. You've got to tell me the familiar bond between these two characters.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Bran Stark and Jon Snow.
Okay, is this as of now in the books what they believe? Because it's not confirmed. I don't give a shit what anybody says. So, half brothers through their father Ned Stark.
I do believe that is acceptable answer. So, also if you went the other way around, I would have also went cousins.
Yeah,
so
I thought you might have gone that way, but it's still not proven in my book.
That's true. All right, Tina, your turn.
Alrighty. What in the word for 200?
So, what in the word for 200?
It's 400.
Or 400.
What are the words of House Targaryen?
Ooh.
Oh. I don't know. I can only think of fire and blood.
And the answer is fire and blood.
Fire and blood.
Whoa, pull that out.
All right, Scotty.
It's kind of magic for 800.
It's a kind of magic.
It's a kind of magic.
What magic / abilities is the Quaith known to have? There was 2 that was specifically mentioned in the chapter.
Really mentioned in the chapter. She has the ability to enter people's dreams. Something like a shy. I don't know. Dream walking and shadow binding. I don't know. Damn it.
The answers are foresight and shadow magic. So you got 1 right.
Did.
But yeah, I would have also accepted as listless receptionist as prophecy is also another
yeah, she was giving her prophecies. So yeah, you're right on that.
Tina.
Aged like Dornish wine for 200.
Ooh.
Okay, so aged like Dornish wine are all things about legend and lore. So for 200?
Yep.
Yes, please.
This legendary figure is said to have wielded the sword of Lightbringer and ended the long night.
I don't know. Drawing a blank.
It's very foreign sounding. Wife, niece, and niece.
Who is Azor Ahai?
All right. This is a good go against you, Tina. I'm gonna win. Put it in your gob TV. Oh, TV edition. I'm going for 1,000.
All right, so this is all about the food that's been on the TV show.
Oh shit. Okay.
All right, so for 1,000.
Yep.
This fruit is mentioned once, but is never eaten on screen, possibly to avoid fruit flies.
Mentioned once, but never eaten on screen. The oranges of Dorne.
It is, in fact, peaches.
Oh, no shit.
Oh yeah, remember there was the story about didn't what's his face give someone yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, really?
His brother a peach.
Yeah.
Whose brother?
The Baratheon brothers. The ones that weren't Robert.
Okay.
One gave the older brother a peach.
Oh, yeah, he was eating the peach. Wasn't he eating the peach at the
That's
meeting?
the thing. It's the joke because Renly doesn't eat peaches. He prefers something
He
else.
likes hairy man ass.
Yeah,
I thought
Tina.
Renly in the show actually took a bite of it.
He attempted. Your category, Tina.
What in the word for 200?
What are the words of House Stark?
Winter is coming.
Ooh.
Let's see if that's correct. Winter is coming.
Oh man. Enough horsing around for 200.
All right, so these are famous horses that threw out A Song of Ice and Fire.
Okay. Silver. Okay.
The horse is Stranger. You have to tell me who is the owner of Stranger.
The Hound.
Jon Snow.
Really?
Yep.
During his time at the wall.
It's the one that he got up at the wall.
Oh shit! I thought it was the Hounds.
All right, Tina.
So did Listless.
It's a kind of magic for 200.
The Red Priest who serves the Lord of Light. Who is that?
As in Melisandre?
Melisandre, correct.
Oh, she's a priestess, whatever.
Yeah. All right, Scotty.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Aged like Dornish wine for 600.
All right. This ancient keep is a cursed house, and no one has been able to hold it for very long.
Harrenhal.
What is Harrenhal? Correct. Right,
Okay,
Gina.
I like to stop you. The horse named Stranger was a big black stallion and the war horse of Sandor Clegane, known as the Hound.
Okay.
So that was mine, right? I got it. 200 points for Scott.
Woohoo.
All right, Tina's turn.
I'm a
It's a kind of magic for 400.
The ancient order of scholars, healers, scientists in Westeros.
The Maesters?
Oh, the Maesters! Look at that.
Yeah.
We should do an episode on them one day.
Yeah, maybe we'll cover something about them. Good guys. Let's see. Okay, let's go with the Put It in Your Gob TV edition for 400.
This drink favored by Tyrians probably has more secrets than it has ingredients.
Dornish wine?
You have to accept wine. So.
Yeah, I got the wine. I'm taking it. This
Tina?
is fun. I like this Jeopardy version.
Keeping it in the family for 200.
So, all right. Kevin and Tyrion Lannister, what is their familiar connection?
Cousins?
And there's two.
Oh. Uncle?
She read Listless, that son of a bitch.
Oh, I
Second
didn't, I
cousins.
swear.
No, I know you didn't. I know you didn't. Oh, crap, you're right. That was a good one, though. I like it. Because I was, when you said cousins, I'm like, no. Oh, yeah, they were cousins. Enough horsing around for 400. 400. Yeah.
Silverwing.
That's a horse?
He's a horse.
Okay.
You'll find there is a lot of crossover between other animals and
So an animal you can ride.
yes.
Okay. I don't remember who Silverwing. Oh my god. Luke? Who is? Oh, Daemon. Why did I remember that? Yep, that's right. Oops,
Tina.
Sorry.
Put it in your gob for 200.
This sweet treat from King's Landing is so popular it almost caused a sugar rush during the court scenes.
Lemon cakes?
What a lemon cake!
Nice.
Thanks for helping me write this list, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Okay. Oh, I'm playing with music. It's a kind of magic for 1,000.
Okay. 2 of the 8 types of magic in A Song of Ice and Fire.
Okay. 2 of the 8 types. Shadow binding. And warging.
Let's see what the answers are.
Oh, you meant like that. So warging, skin changing, right?
Yeah, so skin changing, warging. Yeah.
Yeah. Would shadow binding be like elemental control or
no? Elemental control is control of the elements, like
water, fire.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you need fire to make shadows. Yeah. Good stuff.
I mean, fire out magic, ice magic is a part of it, but yeah, that's still all elemental. So
I almost said this same exact thing. Listless.
Yeah.
So. Oh, shadow binding is blood, maybe. Okay.
Age like Dornish wine for 400.
This pirate king ruled the Stepstones and took the title King of the Narrow Sea.
The crab feeder?
This was a bit of a trick question.
I was going to say, yeah. Because I would have probably said the same thing. I said that first in my head, and then I was like, well, wait a minute. Daemon was king, wasn't he? Like he was the first king.
He was the first and only
king of
the Stepstones, so.
Yeah. Let's see. We'll go with what in a word for 800.
800.
800, yes.
Ours is the fury of the house. Ours is the fury. Is the house motto of what family?
Baratheon. Who are the Baratheons?
Baratheon.
Yay. Good question.
What in the word for 600?
What are the words of House Tyrell?
No.
Growing strong.
Growing strong.
Wow.
Woohoo!
I did not remember that. That was a really good one. Yeah.
I remember that it was a weird one. You know, all the other ones seemed like they were kind of badass, and that one seemed kind of lame.
So I'm going to say this is the answer to the next one. So what in the word? 1,000. Oh, shit.
What are the words of House Martell?
Do I have to say it in order? Unbent, unbound, unbroken, unbent, unbrowned, unbroken, I think, something like that.
Unbent, unbound, unbroken, in that exact order. All right, let's see.
So, yeah. I'm bowed, I'm bent, unbroken. Okay, yeah, that's what I said, right? I'm bent.
That's close
I'm
enough.
Oh, I said I'm bent first. Shit. I came close though. I'm proud of myself on that one. I can't believe I missed it.
All right, Tina.
It's a kind of magic for 600.
The magical creatures that are the sigil of the noblest of the northern houses.
The direwolf.
Skin man? Oh.
What are direwolves? There we go.
Yeah. Nice one. 11 Alpha, you got it. Let's see. No, keep it in the family for 400.
All right, the Mad King.
Okay.
And Robert Baratheon.
So Mad King's grandmother, or Baratheon grandmother, was a Targaryen. Second cousins, once removed, maybe.
There you go.
I said it too.
Beautiful.
Man, I'm good at this.
All right, Tina.
Put it in your gob for 600.
Known to be served at the Twins, this meat is suspiciously never shown, but likely involves a lot of salt.
Oh, was it served at the Twins?
It's mentioned a fair bit in the show.
I'm totally guessing pork.
Salted pork.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that. I was going to say mutton.
I just knew that pork requires a lot of salt to cure, not anything related to A Song of Ice and Fire.
Enough horsing around, 800.
Smiler. The horse Smiler.
I know that name too. Smiler was Bran Starks.
Just think, who has a really smug smile?
Oh, Jamie. I was gonna say Jamie Lannister, but it didn't seem right.
Yeah, it's
I guess
TV
it
show
was.
only.
I guess
TV
it
show
was.
only. So
Yeah.
that one. All right, Kina.
Age like Dornish wine for 800.
Known as Alan's father and uncle, he served multiple kings and died falling down the stairs.
I have no idea.
Falling down the stairs.
You want to take a guess?
I have no clue either.
You can go ahead and guess.
No, I have no clue. No clue. Multiple kings. So that the only one I could think of. Yeah, I don't know, man. Who is it?
It is.
Oh yeah.
Corlys Valerian.
I thought he wasn't he executed?
No. He
was supposed to be though, right?
No, he bent the knee. He was in the black dungeons. He bent the knee after an era, and then served Aegon the second and third.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yep. And he fell down the stairs because he was too old. He had to keep going up and down the tower.
Huh.
Oh, the Tower of the Hand, right?
That's weird. Okay. I'll take the last one and put it in your gob.
Put it in your gob for 800.
Yes, sir.
Jon Snow refuses to eat this despite it being a Night's Watch tradition. I like where your mind just went there.
Oh man.
Wait.
Well,
you know that's not true because he was with
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Jon Snow refuses to eat it despite the Night's Watch tradition. Mutton? I don't know. Oh, I don't even remember black broth.
Black broth. No,
Yeah, it's basically a shitter version of a bowl of brown.
Okay, I was gonna say I know brown, but I don't know black.
Yeah. All right, Tina.
Aged like Dornish wine for 1,000.
So, this first man's kingdom was ruled from Storm's End before the arrival of the Andals. It's funny, someone actually mentioned this in the chat earlier.
I do not know.
Storm. Oh.
Any ideas, Scotty?
Well, the only one I could think of is the Dondarrions and the Storm King. No, because that was maybe. Yeah, because are the Dondarrions Andals? They most likely are, right? Or are they first men?
They're first men.
Okay.
All right, Scotty, so your one?
Keep it in the family, 1,000.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. We have Jace and Baylor.
They were.
You need to name all 17 family.
I'm gonna get it. Okay. Cousins, half sister brother. I know. Are they half sister? No, they're not half sister brother. Cousins, but they're also lovers or gonna be married. Yeah, I don't know much more than that.
Are you sure those are the two that are going to be married?
I thought so. It could be like also niece and nephew because, or like kind of second removed or once removed. But I can't remember if they're going to be married, but I'll say it. All right. First cousins, second cousins, third and fourth cousins.
You forgot about their you forgot about their relations to Rhaenys.
Oh, that's right.
Granddaughter and great nephew.
Grandnephew, yeah. But then wouldn't she be his like kind of like aunt because Daemon is his mother's uncle? And
no, because they're not brother and sister. Yeah.
So confused. So, yeah.
All right, Tina.
Which one?
11 Alpha was right. Multiple times cousins.
Yeah, multiple times cousins right there.
Keeping it in the family for 800.
Yeah, sure you do.
Gendry and Marcella. Or Miss Sella, depending on.
They are half
name
brother and sister.
No, what are they?
Oh no, wait, because Marcella's really not Robert's daughter.
That's a weird one. Yeah, I was going to say that 11.
Yeah, then I would have to agree with
go with it.
11 Alpha. They're either half siblings or step siblings, depending on whether or not
I would say step.
There's a little
Marcella
preface
is
after this one. They're legally
half siblings. There you go.
That's exactly what listless half bro insists on paper.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice. I'll take 1,000.
All right. Myrmidon.
Myrmidon. Jesus. Sounds Dornish. Ariana's horse.
Oh, you had the right letter.
Oh, damn. Oh, the Dragon Knights? What? Horse, right? The horse? Yeah, okay.
And last but not least, Storm.
I feel like I should know this.
You should. This is probably the most famous horse that's here.
Well, it can't be Dunks because we're saying in the show.
They don't have to be in the show, right? They're
No, don't have to be in the show.
No, these are just
the Jamie one was in the show. It was prefaced.
Yeah.
It was only ever named. His horse was only ever named in the show.
Gotcha. I have no idea.
Do you have any sort of guess?
Me?
The name Storm.
Storm, I would say it was Robert Baratheon's horse.
It was Robert Baratheon's horse.
Woohoo!
All right, nice. Let's we got a couple minutes. Let's hit the next
Yeah,
round.
we got it. I got this is just a quick little round.
Oh,
so
nice.
these two ones here.
Okay.
So we have Dragging It Out as the first category. And we have Bastards and Bastards.
Ooh.
All right, Scotty.
Bastards and Bastards for 2,000.
Okay, so Bastards and Bastards is the category where we're taking the names of bastards, but we're putting them to real life people.
Okay. Shit.
So with the same bastard names.
Okay.
So you want
2G. 2G. Going big.
Born and raised in Meadville, a small town in Pennsylvania, her strict father was a factory worker and her mother was a homemaker. She was the second of 4 children. At the age of 15, she studied at Stageworth High School and later graduated in a doctorate in a bachelor's of acting. So we're looking for a famous person that has of a bastard.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing there. Joan Rivers.
Sharon Stone.
Damn it. Good one, though.
Dana.
Interesting.
I like that.
I'll take Bastards and Bastards for 400.
An American talk show host, comedian, writer, and actress from Brooklyn, New York. She voiced Dot Matrix on Mel Brooks' Spaceballs.
Joan Rivers.
Damn it. Damn it. That sucks. I'm going for 1,600 in Bastards and Bastards. I like this category.
Become known as the master of controversial subjects and legendary filmmaker. His films are filled with a variety of film angles and styles. He pushes his actors to give Oscar-worthy performances.
Oh, crap. Oliver Stone?
Oliver Stone.
Yeah. Oh, John
Awesome.
Waters would have been a good one. I like that. Zendaya.
Bastards and Bastards for 800. I like this category.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Famously played a bald man on one of the biggest fantasy shows on TV.
Famously played a bald man on one of the.
I can't believe I didn't think of John Waters to put in there. Fuck me.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
The actor that played Varys.
I couldn't think of his real name either. But that's who I thought of too.
Connolly Phil.
Oh, look at that.
Correct.
Oh, there. Let's got it.
All right, I'll go with that last one in that category.
He used to be fat and funny and super cool. Now he's skinny and a serious actor.
Drake and no, Josh. I just don't know his last name. I don't know.
It's like 8 bastard names you can pick from. So
I know. I'm trying to think. So, Josh, Flowers.
it is not Josh Flowers. Do you have any idea, Tina?
No.
Jonah Hill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's still a little fat.
All right, Tina.
Dragging it out for 400.
This is
Elliot
all about
Page. Good one.
the
Ginger.
dragons. Claimed by Laenor from before 101 AC until 120. What's the name of the dragon?
I'm so bad at
Claimed by
dragons.
Laenor.
The smoke something.
Oh yeah, you're right, isn't it? Sea smoke?
Yes.
That's it.
Sea smoke.
We're helping each.
Sea smoke.
Yeah.
All right, Scotty.
2000, of course. I go from the bottom.
A pale grey-white, the color of morning mist. He was notably a shy dragon who avoided men and worked for years at one time. His avoidance of people and his ability to hide in clouds and mist gave him this name.
I'm so bad at dragons. Sunfire? No, that's not him. He's not pale and gray. Cloud Dust? I don't know. I'm so bad at the dragon names unless they're like the major.
The hint was in the first word, the
I know.
first color.
I know. Gray one.
Gray
goes.
Say yeah. Listless Receptionist has it.
Oh man.
So did 11 Alpha.
Yeah. And Ginger. Her nickname was Misty. Sorry.
Dragging it out for 800.
Born during the reign of King Jaehaerys I Targaryen and named by Rhaenyra after a Valyrian goddess.
See, I'm still bad at it. It's like, oh man. What the hell's the chief?
Rhaenyra.
Yeah, I forget her freaking dragon's name. Oh, is that it? Yeah, I think Listless might be right.
Yeah, I think Listless is right.
Myrax or whatever.
Meraxes.
Meraxes. That sounds about
Oh,
right.
Cyrax.
That could be it too. There's an X in both of them.
Cyrax.
Oh, Cyrax. Yeah. 11 Alpha had it. I'll go 1600. This shitty one.
This dragon has had 3 male and 1 female rider.
No. Valerian was only 3 male, I believe. Or 4 male. Vagar.
Incorrect.
I thought it was Balerion.
I said that, but
I
who was
just
the
wasn't
female?
confident.
Who was the female? It was
The second
Aegon.
rider.
No, is Aegon? It went Aegon.
Remember, he went to. She took the dragon to Old Valyrian and came back with all the scabs.
Oh,
And
she
then
was the
died.
third, right? She was the third
Yeah.
rider.
Oh yeah, she was the daughter.
The daughter of maybe fourth
Yeah.
rider, because I think he had 4 male riders actually, because it was you had the King Aegon, then you had Maelor. Oh no, Jaharis didn't fly him, did he? And then you had Viserys the first. Yeah. Okay. You're good.
And ridden by both Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen and Queen Helena Targaryen.
The wise.
Bonnie Blue. Either of you know this one?
I'm gonna take Listless Answer of Dreamfire.
Yeah, and Levin Alpha too.
And the answer is
I'm
Dreamfire.
so bad
Woohoo!
with the dragons, man. So bad. You can get me every
This
time
was
on those. That was fun.
awesome.
But we're gonna have to wrap it up now because we are making shorts. Thank you guys.
End up in a draw.
What's that?
It ended up in a draw.
Perfect. Yeah, you were way off, definitely. Guys, thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. I did want to zombies, Bagels, Matt, and Jane. Thank you for the super chats and super messages. Before, weirdest thing about Kat, that in that scene is while she is having intercourse with Ned, she seems to be thinking about Winterfell. Why is she homesick, or does she feel more of a stranger in the north? Yeah, she's not thinking about anything when it comes to Ned. He's thinking about coming to Ned. But anyways, yeah, I had fun. Bad Takes will be back here Thursday, and on Vinny Art's channel, so make sure you guys check that out. We'll do some more Jeopardy. Yes, more Jeopardy. Sometimes we'll try to do it again. I like that quick Jeopardy. That's fun. We could do that almost at the end of all of it. We'll make more time, like at least a half hour. Grant, anything?
Yeah, I can have nice, fun little categories. I've got one based on phallic names that I'm working on.
Nice.
Ooh,
Nice.
that's
all
cool.
Right. Everybody, make sure you go check out Mad Mardigan's stream that starts in 15 minutes. I hate raid. It's
Hey, Miss Martin Muses. Bye, Miss Martin Muses.
Oh, Tina or Teresa, you're Tina. I got this. Don't worry. Another woman. But yeah, huh?
She missed Jeopardy.
Oh, she did miss Jeopardy. But guys, check out Mad's stream, please. And it's a sporking mosey, not a raid, just a mosey, a sporking mosey. I hope you all have a good night. We will see you next week for maybe another conspiracy breakdown. And hopefully we'll see you Thursday for aluminum sport. Later, everybody. Okay, stop right there before you move on. Welcome to Sporky News Podcast. My name is... Wrong one. See you, everybody. Where's the best place for content on the world of Ice and Fire?
Right over there. See where I am pointing with my dagger? I just found...
Sporking News Podcast. With me,